What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about tech giants monopoly and modern brainwash, and some quick thoughts about advertising and modern movies. So this is kind of interesting because in many ways we love our tech giants because they sort of did let's say empower people. The intention in the beginning was kind of cool. It looks like they actually did care and that they actually wanted to do something great. But now the platforms are starting to shift a bit where they cannot really, when they get so many users, they're not really growth ready where the consumer is someone that is really valued. The consumer is not really the main goal now. Now it's just like profit, and it's really interesting to see this ramp up of ads. And I've been considering a little bit with movies also how who has the authority to sort of make movies in the old kind of system. You start to see the more knowledge you sort of gather about the world, and you see them make movies about different stuff. Maybe it's a drama, maybe it's a comedy or something. It can be on YouTube. I mean, it can be a traditional movie, can be some new movie on Netflix or whatever. You can sort of it already feels old. Like the movie already feels old. Sort of the script, it's like playing out old memory, where it's like you can just go on the Google and sort of find new fresh information that is way more relevant that actually should have been in the movie because it's a 2019 movie, but the information is already old. It's because it's like this old status quo authority of movies where they like keep replaying the same old script as we're still living in the past while that is already played out, it's already done. It's really interesting with tech giants and consider this modern brainwash. Ads are getting more intense and they're getting worse. Like they're really getting worse. Rarely are they very targeted. I mean, these almost all always sort of get it wrong, which is kind of weird because they should sort of know everything about us. So they should sort of know what we sort of are into, but it's like they don't really seem to be that aware of it. So this giant monopoly on the whole on all the value flows, where now people are just going to a few sort of few apps, and it creates this very big monopoly where it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird when everyone is going to a few apps, and you don't really have that many great tools to, I mean, clearly you need proof of brain, right? You need some form of, you need many tools for that, many tools for proof of brain, so you can find super intelligent stuff. But a lot of it is used very dumbed down, and it's like people don't even pay attention when they sort of are creating something. So it creates this very weird experience where most of the times when you're hanging on these services, you're not really getting amazing stuff that is having your best interest at heart. So it's really interesting to see how monopolies really can take stuff over and really slow stuff down just for like profit incentives. So a lot of profit incentives have incentive to sort of slow things down and slow down growth, basically. Slow down intelligence in many ways by restricting what sort of the consumer can do. And the consumer sort of feels that their potential is extremely limited on a lot of these tech giants, monopoly centralized apps and services, where they basically decide exactly who sort of gets seen. And when people are living 33% of their life in a lot of these apps, it you don't want you don't want some massive authority that like supervises everything and like try to micromanage exactly everything and sort of tell people what they are supposed to be doing and how they are supposed to be using the technology. So you see the trend where it has to sort of in some ways become a bit more. You need to create systems where creativity can flourish more. And I assume, I guess this. I mean, we don't really know if it's gonna happen because I mean, even I mean, if all becomes about profit in some ways, even these new decentralized systems can probably be taken over in sort of some ways, right? It all depends on the consumer. It really all depends on how sort of the consumer are sort of using these technologies, and it really is up to humans. If most humans don't really care that much, they might still hang on the old sort of systems, and it's really interesting because just because most of the value flow is not really going to the regular like users of the products, you are having this massive slowdown because that means that regular people, they can't really afford that much advertising. Like if you can't really afford advertising to promote something new, then it's kind of hard to make large masses of people sort of move into better systems or even be aware of better systems. So you need a lot of people to basically raise awareness themselves or over what they basically are seeing in the world. And I've been seeing a lot of this, especially in 2019, and it's really just all about doing like using your voice and just try to say what you're thinking about or what you're feeling or what you sort of are perceiving, because perception is getting so, let's say, it can be so easily manipulated on with technologies, especially when everyone is just when everyone's attention is when everyone's consciousness is being filtered into specific places. It can really, it can make some people are not really creators, and then tech giants, of course, they just get more influence, more power, and it starts to sort of compound, and they can have a larger grip on the whole sort of perception of reality, and that's kind of scary in many ways. It becomes very very scary then. You want empowered human beings in a digital age. You want really want some, you want like people that actually are providing amazing value to sort of get sort of supported, and yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. So these tech giants has been growing and growing and growing the last sort of 20 years, and you almost need some form of breakup, or you need more freedom. Like you need more freedom. You need the consumer to be able to be valued. For example, a lot of these tech giants, they don't even have support. You can't even contact them. It is it's super strange. And yeah, so that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. And you've really been seeing a lot more complaints lately. I mean, sure, it's people have been complaining for a very long time, for around 10 years, but it's only right now that people are starting to have a little bit more influence and can actually voice their thoughts and actually have them more listened to. So that is kind of nice a little bit to see. But yeah, it really is brainwash in many ways, where people are in the old system and they're getting fed so many ads and so much nonsense that they're not really getting up-to-date knowledge. So you almost get people kind of split in two categories. Some that just gets addicted to new intelligence and real knowledge, while other people, they're sort of in this sort of brainwash system, seeing all these ads, seeing all this mainstream stuff. They can really sort of get behind on they can become, let's say, super unaware of new technology and how rapidly it's going to change the way people are using technology, and change sort of whole ways of how sort of they're looking at life and sort of how they're looking at intelligence. So it's nice how intelligent people finally are getting a little bit better tools to see if they can make or come together with other people that are using proof of brain, and sort of try to see if you can get more people involved sort of in that, because it would be pretty epic. I mean, if you get momentum with that, if you get momentum with proof of brain and real intelligence and really smart systems, yeah, it takes a lot of thinking from people, but it's kind of cool, right? When if it actually works, right? So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain. Bye bye.